My name is Nick Prestoleo. I'm current Vice President at AIGA Philly. And I'm lucky to be in the room with one of my favorite designers and also favorite people, Mig Reyes. He's visited us from Chicago and is here to enjoy the wonderful city of brotherly love for 3 days. Also had a great lecture this evening discussing to us about hard work, the idea of rolling up your sleeves, doing the work that you want to do to get the work that you want. So on those lines, one of my questions for Mig was, as a designer, a lot of us deal with the difficulty. I'm still looking at the camera, and you're going to keep that, because that's okay. one of my difficulties as a designer, and I think a lot of designers too, we do work at work where we feel kind of we're giving in to the constraints of daily design to pay our paychecks, to pay our rent. How do you fit in time to do that work that you love? And maybe I'm looking at it wrong, so please correct me.
Yeah, it's a super tough thing. I mean, there's so many of us, and myself included, at the end of the day, when we come home from work, you don't want to open up the computer and do more work. So I think the first thing to think about is it can't be a chore for you. The moment that personal work or a passion project becomes a chore, it's no longer a passion project, it's just chore work. And nobody likes to do chores. So, and the other thing I might suggest too is that we might have amazing opportunities at our job. We might have amazing opportunities at our work where on the surface it might be really, mundane work, but I think one of the challenges of being a designer is how can I turn this work, how can I turn this problem into something that means a lot more? And one thing that I always try to tell my friends is we're hired because we're professional creative thinkers and storytellers. So go into it thinking about that rather than your production skills that you think you're just churning out work. As far as doing side projects or passion projects, instead of flipping on Lost, maybe you can spend some time learning how to craft a website on your own and just, do something interesting, something fun. And I think that's what's really important is that our titles as designer or interactive designer or copywriter, that doesn't dictate the work that we have to do. Being designers, we very much may do video work, or we very well may do writing work. So don't get hung up on your job title, and I think you realize we're allowed to make anything. We live in the Google world where we can Google anything we want to make. So turn on Google.
During your lecture, and even during your response now, I hear a lot of little snippets of wonderful advice I've learned from Humble Pie. Doing that project, how's that affected your work process? Has it affected it?
Yeah, doing Humble Pie has been super fantastic in a sense of learning how to just talk to people one-on-one and just figuring out how different people from all around the world work. Some people from LA think in different ways than other people in New York, and it was so refreshing to just really learn from other people and just sit down and talk shop and just, really understand how people think. And all of these bits of advice that I got, it made me think about my own work and my own passions and my own career. And in doing all this and being able to share it all, it's been exciting to say, hey, everyone started in a different place and everyone, learned from mistakes, and these are the mistakes they've learned from, and it's so exciting to share with everyone.
I think, too, you kind of underrate your charisma. And two questions. One part would be, do you think that's a talent you developed or something you were born with? And second, how does that relate to networking as opposed to making friends?
Right. Well, I don't know. It's easy to chalk it up as I'm from the Midwest, and so I'm just playing off that Midwest nice. But more on the networking thing, that's the thing that I do like thinking about. The word networking to me in itself is a bit of a slimy word. Like it has this almost weird, slimy connotation, and it doesn't have to. So when I think of networking, when I tell the students I teach or my fellow designers, I never think of it as networking. I just more so think of it as making new friends. So, when you're going to the next AIGA conference, how about you put the business card away and say, hey, how about we get a beer and talk about the Phillies? That's so much more interesting than saying, I'm a designer from X company, and this is what my business card looks like. Now you will judge me on my business card, and I will judge you on your business card, and now we have networked. I just don't think it's a very hearty, helpful way of building relationships. So, and LinkedIn, that's not networking. That's like a digital Rolodex. I think networking is hanging out and just talking to somebody picking their brain, whether it is about sports or about Helvetica Bulb, you know. We all have things we can be talking about, and I think that's where the actual networking comes from. It's just talking to people about stuff, not trying to figure out how soon can I add them on my LinkedIn. And so when you think of it more as just making friends instead of making connections, your mindset kind of shifts.
Okay, one final question. This year seems to be like a year of transition for you, leaving Threadless for a new position at 37 Singles, and also I think you're ending your tenure as a social media chair for AIGA, is that correct? National, so liaison. How do you feel that fits into your whole idea of networking and friendship, and also how does social media play a role in your field, or actually your particular passions?
I don't think you need to be a social media liaison for anything to make social connections. And I think that's the other thing, like along the lines of networking, we always have social media entrepreneurs and social media experts. And I'm always like, how the fuck are you an expert at social media? Like, these tools just came out. So what I wish people would maybe think of more is like, let's use Twitter and Facebook as a way to facilitate real relationships and to facilitate real conversations. They shouldn't be replacing them. And so social networking, I guess if you want to call it, hasn't like changed the way I make friends. It's just helped facilitate me maintaining friendships with people in Philly or people in California. So yeah, it's just been a big help in maintaining those connections that I wouldn't otherwise have if we didn't have the internet and the Googles and the Twitters and the Facebooks.
Thanks for your time, Mig, and thanks for the visit. I recommend anybody watching this video, please check out new interviews on Humble Pie and keep track of what he's doing at 37 Singles, especially as a young designer. There should be some inspiration there for everyone. Thanks.
Go Bears.
All right, that's a wrap.
Awesome.
Bravo, you too.